Welcome back into the Cherry Pinstripes podcast. A tough week for the Phils, although they did just win the last two games in Chicago to take that series after dropping the game on Friday. They had an overall 2-4 week. They had lost 5 straight games going into Saturday, but they did pull out that series against the Cubs. They went 2-1 against the Cubbies in Wrigley. They're just not playing good baseball right now. Point blank period. We're just going to get straight into it today. I'm your host, Shelfy. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, hit the social media accounts, which have been rebranded, by the way, to Philly Sports. It's Philly Sports JM, Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you're following game-to-game updates, news updates, all kinds of Philly sports stuff going on over there. But the team straight up just isn't playing very good baseball right now. They're missing that it factor. They just seem that there's no spark plug most nights. There's one guy seems to blow it every game out of the bullpen. The lineup goes through 15, 20 batter stretches where they're not doing anything, and then it'll explode for 7, and then they'll go another 12 innings without doing anything drastic. Christopher Sanchez left the game early this week with arm tightness. Reports are that he feels good, looks good. He's got a scheduled bullpen, no estimated time of arrival for him coming back into the rotation. But one thing we did note, spring training when his velocity was up, the one concern with velocity going up early is you got to watch that arm. And here in April, we're already seeing a little bit of forearm tightness for Christopher Sanchez. The good news is it's not elbow, it's not shoulder, it's no ligament damage, just he was sore. And it seems like he's okay. We'll check back in after the next bullpen. And then also during the Cubs series, we got a soundbite from Trey Turner that went around, made its waves on social media, mentioned that the team has been a bit unlucky this year. This team gets hit pretty hard about their approach at the plate. And a lot of the times it's extremely justified. This team does chase. They're a baseball team that will swing off the plate. It's not just Nick Castellanos. Trey Turner's a guy that will also swing off of the plate. But a lot of that comes from the fact that these are good hitters that get the green light in certain situations. And I said this when we signed Nick Castellanos. These type of guys, you just got to take the good with the bad. But specifically, Trey Turner used the term unlucky. It didn't go over well with the fan base, and a fan base like Philly is never going to love when you say anything that could sound like an excuse. Alec Bowe in particular, a lot of people have said he's been the most unlucky hitter in all of baseball this year. I had his Baseball Savant page up before we started today. He's actually in the 84th percentile in hard hit rate. So a lot of red, 91st percentile in squared up percentage, 95th percentile in whiff percentage. So he's not missing. Average exit velo, 92 miles per hour, 77th percentile in the league. Those are good numbers, but he has a 527 OPS on the season. He's batting .220. He is yet to homer. I admit, he's hitting the ball hard, but this is what happens when you're a spray hitter sometimes. He's not someone that pulls the ball. He doesn't pull the ball hard and into the air. A lot of these hard hit balls are hard hit ground balls and double plays that the pitcher was looking for. He's pounding that inside sinker right to shortstop. It doesn't matter if it's a 96 mile an hour ground ball. That's what the pitcher wanted. Alec Bowe is a 6'5" player at a premium position where most teams are looking for power. We've talked about this so much, and I don't want to dump on Alec Bowe any more than I already have, but it's just I'm kind of tired of having this conversation. I want to talk about his pull rates in particular. This year, his pull in the air percentage is down to 7%. He pulls the ball in the air just 7% of the time. That's bright blue towards the very bottom of the league. Last year, 12%. The year before that, 11%. The year before that, 12%. Now, for comparison's sake, a lot of you guys, maybe you guys don't dabble into the advanced analytics. His pull ground ball percentage in comparison, 17% last year, 22%. I'm sorry, 17% this year, 22% last year, 16% the year before. Alec Bowe is he's going to hit the ball hard and on the ground. He's a spray hitter. He's not the worst hitter in the league, but I just don't think it fits the mold at that position. And I'm not surprised that the way he hits the ball hard isn't resulting in base hits, if that makes sense. I understand looking at it black and white on paper, but the way that he's hit, the way that he is approached by pitchers, what pitchers are looking to do with him, and the amount of ground ball double plays that he has this season, it's not an accident. It all ties back together. Bohm's really got to get it together. And one of the things we're going to talk about in today's show is that this team generally just has not replaced Rhys Hoskins from that core team that went to the World Series a few years ago. And Alec Bowe not progressing the way that you would like, despite the first half of 2024, has been a huge part in that. But the biggest thing still with this team is the bullpen's been bad. And we're going to roll right into a deep bullpen topic here because once again, the bullpen has just been extremely chaotic. The second worst bullpen ERA in all of baseball this season. Only the Nationals have a lower bullpen ERA this year. And we know why. It's everyone. The only two guys that have been legitimately nasty start to finish right now are Jose Alvarado and Matt Strahm. My guy Orion Kerkering has he's got an ERA over 5. Gave up 3 to the Marlins. Followed that up with a 2-run spot against the Mets. But I still will say, I still believe in Kerkering as a high leverage guy. I need to see more than 2 blip appearances. I still have, but they desperately need a right-handed leverage guy. We're going to be having this conversation until they make a move in July, but they desperately, not just a high leverage guy, they need a flame-throwing, momentum-killing, right-handed pitcher in this bullpen. Jose Alvarado is that on the left side. Matt Strahm's the finesse guy on the left side. I think Kerkering, if he's coming out in 6th, 7th innings in between these guys, can be extremely effective. But they need a Ryan Helsley type in the back end of this bullpen. The problem is, and this team, they're in a weird position right now. Everyone either wants Andrew Painter or they're not willing to expand the conversation. That's just kind of the position they're in. And that's where I talked about it a lot in the offseason, them not having their feet deep in those international pools really comes back to haunt them. We've seen last year, Starling Caba kind of snuck through the ranks a little bit in low ball, got to into that bottom top 100. He ends up getting flipped in those Carlos Estevez types of deals at the deadline. The Phillies need to do more of that. They need to have prospects. They're not huge prospects, just guys that you can throw out for those medium value deals because you're not trading Andrew Painter for Ryan Helsley. You're just not. I'm going to talk about Jesus Luzardo and the future of this rotation a little bit today. We're going to get into the Zach Wheeler too. But this team, if they're going to make these bullpen moves, they need those depth prospects. They need those middle-of-the-pack prospects that they can bulk together and make some moves, and they just don't have that right now. So I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know if a Ryan Helsley deal is going to get made. So they're going to have to keep leaning into a Jordan Romano in high leverage situations, especially if we keep going into extra inning games. We've seen him pull out a great inning last night against the Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball, I'll say, as the Phillies won that series. But it's been hit or miss. It's been hit or miss. That slider hangs a good bit, and I'm not going to sit here and try and act like it's not going to keep happening. This is going to be a dicey bullpen. They have 2 high leverage lefties. They've got to get a righty in here, and I don't know where it's going to come from. But something I was thinking about on the train today, 2019, the Washington Nationals won the World Series. They won the World Series in 2019. There's 2 notes here. Before the playoffs started that year, you know who had the lowest bullpen ERA in baseball? The Washington Nationals. You know who was on that pitching staff? Joe Ross was on that pitching staff. Now, Joe Ross isn't going to be a huge part of this team, but I like tying things together. We live in an alternate timeline universe. I'm just throwing that out there. We can get weird here on a Monday. Joe Ross started a World Series game that year, actually, against the Astros. Look it up. I'm just saying this bullpen is really bad right now. Bottom of the barrel, some would say. But I'm still, at the end of the day, holding some confidence in the fact that we have 2 high-leverage left-handed pitchers. And other than Andrew Painter, I'm not trading Justin Crawford either. Probably not trading Aiden Miller. But, I mean, if somebody like a Mason Miller were to come up, you need to start having conversation. I mean, Aiden Miller and Justin Crawford, if Mason Miller type is available, you're having conversations about those guys. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for those conversations and have a more detailed conversation about it. But, if I'm the Phillies, the only person that's completely untouchable is Andrew Painter, and you're probably going to see him this season. Now, the next point today, we talked about it a little bit at the open. This team never replaced Rhys Hoskins in the lineup. So they need a right-handed thumper in the bullpen. They need a right-handed thumper in this lineup. They need a second Nick Castellanos. Rhys Hoskins and Nick Castellanos are actually very similar players. despite the fact that Rhys walks and Nick K's a lot. We're talking about two guys that will maintain that OPS. They're dangerous right-handed bats against both righties and lefties, and having those two at the same time during that 2022 World Series run. It's a shame Rhys tore his ACL and went down the way he did at the end of his Phillies run there, and the Phillies kind of had to slide Harper over and everything just kind of meshed organically. And the Phillies have gotten better defensively with Bryce Harper at first base, don't get me wrong. But the makeup of the lineup has been awkward ever since Rhys Hoskins left. They've been trying to find that extra guy. They haven't. I've talked about it a lot this year about Max Kepler. Don't hate the signing, but it's just another lefty out there. It doesn't fit that hole. One of the biggest issues this team has is not just hitting starting pitching, but specifically left-handed starting pitching. And they need a right-handed pitcher. They need a right-handed bat. And it's not just the fact that it's the right-handed bat. Rhys Hoskins was a huge vibes guy, a big part of the culture of this team. Another topic I saw floating around on social media last week was Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs went yard off of former Philly Vince Velasquez down in AAA earlier last week. And you've seen him bounce around in the dugout, and the guys are excited. And the Iron Pigs have been playing great ball this season. Sometimes having that guy on your bench that keeps everybody excited and happy and locked in plays a big role. It plays a much bigger role than you realize through the TV when we're getting mad at the superstar for striking out. It's just the way it is. So when it comes to this lineup, I just truly, despite the fact that they went to another World Series, despite the fact that they went to another National League Championship Series, and the fact that they've won the division since then, and Rhys Hoskins hasn't exactly, I'm not saying Rhys Hoskins needed to be the guy I'm not saying he needed to stay. He didn't need to be the guy. But in terms of replacing that, this lineup hasn't quite had the same identity that it had in 2022. And I think it's still looking for it. They're still looking for that identity. And they may have found something with Bryson Stott leading off. He's currently looking like he's going to have a career year, ladies and gentlemen. 800 OPS, near 300 batting average right now, and he's been trending up like a spike up ever since they put him in the leadoff spot. So they're working towards it, but they truly have not had the type of identity as a lineup that they had when they went on that run in 2022, and it all ties back to having that extra dangerous right-handed bat right in the middle of this lineup. And this is going to be a very interesting deadline for the Phillies, because over the next 2 years, you have more contracts falling off. We know it's Schwarber and JT Realmuto are in a contract year right now. Nick Castellanos is in a contract year next year. Then at that point, with Nick Castellanos falling off, you only have one more year of Zach Wheeler. You got to make decisions right now on Ranger Suarez. You got to make decisions next year on Jesus Luzardo, and you're going to try and extend Jesus Luzardo, because Jesus Luzardo may be the future of this staff. Andrew Painter, hopefully, golden ticket in the back pocket, can be a Cy Young caliber pitcher on arbitration money. But in terms of the pitcher that's getting paid, the veteran guy that's leading the staff, we wanted it to be Aaron Nola. We're going to pay Aaron Nola to be a 2 or a 3. He's probably going to pitch like a 4. That's fine. Jesus Luzardo might be the guy that we can give an extension to that actually ends up anchoring as the veteran of this rotation moving forward, because he's fit in great and he's looked phenomenal. And 3 years from now, when that Zach Wheeler contract ends, and I'm not saying we can't bring Zach Wheeler back, but he has publicly said multiple times that this is probably it for him. It's not that he won't pitch for the Phillies again. He might hang him up. Like, he's going to be 33 years old. He's about to make $130 million over the next 3 years. He's pitched on the biggest stage. He might hang him up. He wants to go hang out with the fam. He's said this already. So 3 years from now, if Jesus Luzardo, Andrew Painter is your 1-2, I'm happy with that. And this team, like I've said many, many times, and the reason I feel like I'm Mr. Optimistic all the time, but the reason I am Mr. Optimistic is because this team really is built for the duration of Bryce Harper's career. It's not just right now. It's not the next 2 years. And I know things don't look great right now. But 3 years from now, Zach Wheeler falls off. You could have a 1-2 punch in Jesus Luzardo, Andrew Painter, even Christopher Sanchez still here as a 3. This team has a good window right now to at least be solid. But they've got to start filling these holes better. And it starts with a right-handed pitcher and a right-handed hitter for 2025. I don't know how they're going to get that done. But over the next month, you're going to see some rumors start to swirl about the Phillies, because it's going to be an active deadline for this team. They're certainly not going to be selling. I can tell you that right now. So we'll see what happens with the prospect ranks over the next month or so. The one guy, though, that if you can get a Mason Miller or Ryan Helsley, don't do it. But my boy Eduardo Tate down there in single A, no one's talking about him yet. That kid is serious. He's really good. Eduardo Tate, if you've never heard the name, go type it in on your YouTube right now. I'm telling you, that kid's gross. He could be this year's Starling Caba that gets thrown in the trade at the deadline just because no one knew who he was. kind of came out of nowhere, but I promise you scouts around the league do. I don't want to get rid of him, but if you can get one of those peak guys, you got to go and do it because this bullpen needs it right now. And I know it doesn't feel like it and doesn't look like it, but this Phillies team really is a piece or two away. They're just a piece or two away. And if that piece is the bullpen, you find a lockdown guy in the bullpen, and suddenly this team's going weeks or even just 1 week straight where it's just like they're just a scary pen. This team's nasty again. But I got to give a shout out. Our dog of the week this week is going to be producer Biondi, who caught an Aaron Judge home run on the fly over the weekend. Unreal. Grabs a baseball at the game. But our Phillies dog of the week, we're going to go double dog, man. Jesus Luzardo, like I mentioned, hopefully we can lock this guy in long term. But for now, might step up and be that Cy Young contender this year for the Phillies. He's beaten Zach Wheeler in the race early in the year, still a sub-2 ERA. And then my guy, Bryson Stott as well. Our first double dog of the week, Luzardo, Bryson Stott. I guess we're just calling it a triple dog this week. What was the name of the dog in Harry Potter? The three-headed dog? Fluffy. That's you, Jesus Luzardo, and Bryson Stott. Fluffy. Bryson, like I said, Bryson Stott is him. 800 OPS, 293 batting average. He grinds pitchers. He has professional at-bats. He looks healthy again. We found out about that injury last year. I don't know how it got kept quiet all year last year, but as soon as I seen that clip of him getting hit in the elbow, he looks like he looked 2 years ago. He looks phenomenal, and he could fit in at the top of that lineup. The only problem is this team, lefty, righty, lefty, lefty. But we may have found our long-term leadoff hitter that fits the mold of a leadoff hitter that this team, or a lot of this fan base has wanted for so long. Schwarber's fit great in the 4-hole as well behind Harper, so looking good. Double dog Bryson Stott, Jesus Luzardo. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast, follow on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify. Check us out on social media. The Phils got a big week of games coming up. They just won 2 straight to end that Cubs series, and hopefully they can use that to get things going. We talked about Jordan Romano, Orion Kirkring as well. They both had shutout appearances in the back half of that Cubs game. When those two guys pitch well, it does everything for this pen. I would prefer they're coming out in the 6th and the 7th. We got to go get a guy. But for now, if those two go scoreless, this is a really tough team to score runs on. We just got to stop blowing it up. We'll see you guys after the next series. Phil's got a big one coming up, and they're going to win a couple more. They're still over 500, and this division's up for grabs. The Mets will Met because LOL Mets. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm rambling at this point. Go Phils.